What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. In this video, Thursday Night Football, we have a fantastic game tonight. We have the LA Chargers visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Got a lot of fun in that one, so I'm sure we'll talk some a bit about that game. We'll go over some of the player news that happened today, the ins and outs, the practice reports, and we'll answer your questions in the chat room. And we got Harris hanging out with us right away off the bat here. Is this good? I was just offered James Cook for Kareem Hunt. No, you want Kareem Hunt. You want Kareem Hunt. And then do I bench Mike Evans this week? I'd have to know your options behind Mike Evans. And we'll pull up. Let's actually pull this up. So if you guys, I have the link to the practice reports in the start sits column. So if you guys are ever curious, I do have the link to the practice reports here. Tampa Bay had kind of a scary practice report today. Not practicing Mike Evans after being limited yesterday with a calf injury. So big day tomorrow. We'll see if he can go tomorrow. Chris Godwin, probably not going to play. DNP. Julio Jones, back-to-back, not practices Wednesday and Thursday. It looks like Russell Gage did get a limited practice in today. So Tampa Bay's receiving core is banged up. Mike Evans with that calf injury, if he practices in a limited or full capacity tomorrow, he should play. But you also have to worry about Mike Evans going up against Marshawn Lattimore. He's never really had a good go against him. He catches touchdowns, but a lot of his yardage and his receiving numbers are held in check. So Harris, you'd have to let me know who you would be using over Mike Evans for me to answer that, because I would consider it. It's not a great matchup for him. Tampa Bay and Tom Brady have both struggled against the Saints in the past 2 years here, so it's not a great spot for Mike Evans. But let's while we wait for more questions and more people to come hang out, let's get into some of these player news. So it looks like Kenneth Walker was downgraded to limited. This is probably just a maintenance day as he got a full practice in yesterday. So it sounds like Kenneth Walker going to be playing this Sunday against the 49ers. I'm not going to say to start Kenneth Walker. You want to see what he does on the bench. He's going to be in a committee with Rashad Penny, so we'll watch for that. It looks like Ronald Jones, Harrison Butker inactive tonight. So if you had Butker as your kicker, you're going to need a new kicker. Tonight, they did call up their practice squad kicker. So if you want one of those guys, go ahead and do it. Harris is saying Edmonds, Harris, Bateman, or Robinson. In a full PPR league, I'll tell you this: Chase Edmonds is your safest play. He's a guaranteed 9-10 points. So if you want to play it safe, go for Edmonds. If you're feeling risky, I think they're going to try and get Allen Robinson more involved this week against the Atlanta Falcons. He should be in a good situation. You look at the last week, the Falcons going up against the Saints, they allowed Michael Thomas 2 touchdowns, Jarvis Landry 8. It could be a good day for Allen Robinson. So I'm going to rank them as Edmonds or Robinson. Those are the two you're looking at in full PPR. Isaiah Spiller not playing tonight, but the Chargers do get their stud cornerback here, J.C. Jackson. First time we're going to see him in a Chargers uniform. Zach Ertz upgraded to full practice today. There's the Chiefs kicker, Matt Amendola. So if you're setting DFS lineups or you want to swap in someone for Butker, Matt Amendola is the kicker. No KJ Hamler today. It sounds like Allen Lazard's on track to play. He logged a limited practice today as well as yesterday, so good news there for Allen Lazard. He's a wide receiver 3 flex option for us this week. Another full practice for J.K. Dobbins, so back-to-back full days has me thinking he's going to play this week. So I'm not going to tell people to start him. I think you want to kind of see what his participation is going to be in Sunday's game, but we're getting excited about J.K. Dobbins potentially coming back into our lineup decisions. Good evening to Justin. I hope we're doing well. Michael Gallup limited today. We're probably a week or two away from Michael Gallup. I think all along they said week 3 at the earliest, maybe week 4. And there's a reason he didn't go on IR, because they think he's got a shot to be here week 3 or 4. So he's getting limited practices. He did wear pads for the first time here. So this is another positive step forward for Michael Gallup. And I actually think Cooper Rush and the Cowboys, they might just be okay. They're not going to be probably winning or putting up a high octane offensive output, but the Cowboys could be just okay with Cooper Rush. CJ Uzomah limited here. That's more good news for Tyler Conklin. If you needed a tight end to hold on to over the weekend, Conklin's a guy. He ran a lot of routes for them. He did catch the touchdown last week, the only Jets touchdown of the day. So Tyler Conklin, probably a tight end streamer option for you. Shaq Leonard participated in full during Thursday's practice. That's good news for the Colts. As far as the Texans, we're not going to be looking at the running backs probably. I suppose Rex Burkhead in a full PPR format. Alec Pierce limited with a concussion today. The big one out of the Colts today was Michael Pittman Jr. not practicing. He was spotted on the sidelines, but a downgrade is not a good sign for his availability in a smash spot on Sunday against Jacksonville. So he did practice yesterday. Let me look here. He practiced yesterday with a limited DNP today. So tomorrow's a big day. If he's DNP tomorrow, I'm going to say he's doubtful. If he gets a limited, I'm going to say he's questionable to probable. So we'll watch that for tomorrow. Michael Pittman Jr. If he plays, you're going to put him in your lineup. But we have to be cautious with him. No George Kittle yet, absent again today. Kyle Shanahan isn't making Kittle a surprise limited. So he's trending towards being doubtful again here. He's probably not going to practice tomorrow. So if you have George Kittle on your roster, you're probably looking at some backup tight ends like Tyler Conklin and such. David Bakhtiari getting a rest day. It sounds like he's going to be practice one day, rest the next day, practice the next day. So I think Wednesday's his practice day, Thursday's no practice, Friday practice. So that would be a huge boost for the Packers. Not only Aaron Rodgers in the passing game, but for the running backs as well. No Velus Jones in this one. Jameis Winston limited. He's going to play. I don't think there's anything to worry about here. Mark Ingram limited. We did have Alvin Kamara, though. We'll get to that in a second. But Alvin Kamara did not practice today, I believe. Harris is asking, do I trade Lazard, Pierce, and Mike Williams or Javonte Williams for Evans, Jamal, Winston, and Palmer? So that's a four-piece trade for a three-piece. So Lazard, Pierce, and Mike Williams for Evans, Jamal, Winston. So technically, I mean, I don't know if I love it. I mean, I think Mike Williams and Mike Evans are very similar here. I think Lazard is the guy you want over Palmer. And then I wouldn't want to trade. Like, you want to keep Javonte Williams in a full PPR. He showed his worth there. So to me, I think I want to keep Lazard, Mike Williams, Javonte, and Dameon Pierce because I know Pierce was disappointing week one, but I really think Rex Burkhead's probably not going to be able to maintain that workload all season long. I think you should hold on to Pierce. And keep in mind, like, he's a fourth-round rookie. They gave him 12 touches week one, 11 carries and a reception, I believe, which is a nice potential floor volume for him. If he's going to be getting that volume going forward and maybe getting more work as the season goes on, that could be really nice for him. So I think I'm going to hold on to it unless you need a QB for, to maybe you had Dak or something and you needed a QB maybe. But I think I would need more information. But for now, I'm going to hold. DeAndre Swift, back-to-back not practice days, but he's expected to play here. It just sounds like they're just being cautious with him. They need him for the game against the Commanders. Najee Harris, full participant today. We were nervous about that foot injury, but it sounds like, he mentioned yesterday saying he's going to play. So to me, it looks like, yes, like we can expect Najee to play. Unless he's a surprise DNP tomorrow, I wouldn't worry about it. Wan'Dale Robinson not practicing today. I don't know if he's worth a roster spot in redraft leagues. Now, Alvin Kamara did not practice today with his rib injury. It's a downgrade from yesterday. He was limited. He's a question mark at this point. If we do get if we do get him to practice tomorrow, I would say he's probably on track to play. But if he's DNP tomorrow, we're probably going to need to be without Alvin Kamara. And they kind of made some interesting moves. They went and signed Latavius Murray to the practice squad. They're moving pieces around. So there's a small chance Mark Ingram might be the starting running back against Tampa Bay here. Good evening to Ryan. Hope you're doing well. It is not a QB and RB. It is not a QB. Winston? Not QB and RB. Winston. Who's Winston? I'm confused. It is not a QB or RB. Isn't that Jameis Winston? Kadarius Toney limited today. We're not using Toney in our lineups right now. If you're going to have to be patient with him to see if he gets out of the doghouse. They said he was practicing with the third team today. Kyle Phillips. This one's interesting because I picked him up in a couple leagues today. He did not participate in Thursday's practice. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I hope he can get a limited or a full practice in tomorrow. Maybe they're just being cautious with him. But if he does play in this one, I think he's an interesting guy in PPR leagues. Dontrell Hilliard, another guy we have to monitor here, not practicing. There we go. Jeff Wilson. Okay. So in that case, no, I'm gonna continue to hold on to I think I prefer holding Lazard, Pierce, Williams, and Javonte. What else we got here? It's something to monitor here for the Ravens offensive line. Maybe he practices tomorrow, but we'll check back on Ronnie Stanley tomorrow. Rondale Moore not practicing today. That's back-to-back DNPs. I don't think he's playing this week, so continue to leave him stashed on the bench. This one was interesting. I mean, David Njoku was officially excused. I'm not sure what was going on here. Maybe it was a personal day, something going on here for him. Jamal Adams torn quadriceps out for the season. Unfortunately, here's the blurb about Tony practicing with the third string offense. So I have huge concerns with Kadarius Toney. There's a Michael Pittman. Brevin Jordan said he expects Brevin Jordan to play in week 2. We're not looking at him for a tight end streamer. I'm still hopeful that he can be a factor, but it might be a little bit of a mess. Should I trade Lamb for Pittman? I think if you could do that 1-for-1, I want Michael Pittman on my team. If you could do that, I would cash in on that for sure. And again, I like CeeDee Lamb, but to get Michael Pittman, I mean, we saw the target share last week. He's attached to Matt Ryan. I think you're in for a fun season with Michael Pittman, and I would do that trade for sure. Good evening to Fabian. Hope you're doing well, my man. Lucius is back. Need one wide receiver and one flex, half PPR. He's got Juju, Marquise, Clyde, J-Rob, or Zeke. One receiver and a flex. One receiver and a flex. If I had to use a receiver, I think I'm going Marquise Brown against the Raiders. That's probably where I'm going to go. I like Juju tonight. I like him more in a full PPR setting. And the thing about Juju is he lines up almost 60% in the slot last week. He's going to be going up against Bryce Callahan tonight, so I'm a little concerned about that. I think I'm going to start Marquise Brown because he is the clear number 1 target for Kyler Murray. So that's my reasoning. I think Juju is kind of the number 2 target for Mahomes. I'm going to go with the number 1 target in Marquise Brown at the receiver spot. And then one flex. I mean, I suppose if you wanted Juju in there, I don't mind it, but I'm probably going to go with one of the running backs, whether Clyde Edwards-Helaire or James Robinson. It's a tougher matchup for James Robinson going up against the Colts, so I'm going to lean Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Marquise Brown. Connor, I got offered DeAndre Hopkins and Jamal Williams for Mooney, Penny, and Jeff Wilson. I have Swift, Jamar. Let's see here. Okay, so we got offered Hopkins and Jamal Williams for Mooney, Penny. So this person's trying to buy Darnell Mooney on the cheap. You already have Swift, Jamar, Chase, Lamar, and T. Higgins, Barkley, Pitts, full PPR. So I don't know. Your receivers would be Jamar, T. So you essentially, I don't know who you would flex then. If you have a flex position to fill, it looks like you're putting Mooney in there right now. So I get it, but I personally, I don't think I'm going to take this deal. I don't want to wait 4 or 5 more games for DeAndre Hopkins, and I like Jamal Williams, but I think I'm going to hold on to Darnell Mooney. Last week was kind of a weird game in the rain, so I'm going to keep Mooney, Penny, Jeff Wilson. I think that's where I'll stay. Pick one since Allen is out. Dylan, Freiermuth, Landry, Lazard, Juju. AJ Dillon's probably the safest floor here. It's against Chicago. They're going to pound the ball. They're going to get a lot of touches. And in full PPR, Dillon looks pretty safe here. So I'm gonna say Dillon. Otherwise, I do kind of like Jarvis Landry going up against Tampa Bay, but I'm gonna say AJ Dillon's the guy. I have Hill and Metcalf as my wide receivers 1 and 2. I'm good with both those guys, Tyreek and Metcalf. So leave them as your wide receiver 1 and 2, and I think you're gonna roll out AJ Dillon. If you didn't want to go Dillon, I'm fine with Juju. I don't love Juju tonight. Again, he's gonna be matched up in the slot against Bryce Callahan, who has been pretty shut down throughout his career. Drop Matt Ryan. If you're holding it, so here's the thing: is if you have a top 5 QB, you should not be holding a backup QB. If you have, say you have, Derek Carr, I'm okay with kind of holding Matt Ryan so you can play matchups and things like that. But I wouldn't mind holding on to Matt Ryan if I could. But again, if you have a top 5 QB, I don't need a second QB. If you kind of have a middling top 10 QB, it's worth holding on to. But Cousins or Carr. For this week, give me Derek Carr going up against, the Cardinals just allowed Pat Mahomes to throw for 5 touchdowns. I think Derek Carr and that offense is going to get on track this week with probably 3 touchdowns or so for Derek Carr, probably over 300 passing yards. Cousins, a little bit tougher matchup going up against the Eagles, especially on the road. So I'm going to say Derek Carr over Cousins. Dillon or Hines, this one's easy. This is A.J. Dillon all day. Naheem Hines is only going to get 3 to 5 carries in this game. He'll likely get, maybe 4 or 5 catches. But Dylan's probably going to get those catches as well. So give me the guy who's got probably double-digit carries, 4 or 5 catches, and probably a pretty good shot at a touchdown. That's A.J. Dillon. T. Higgins, he practiced yesterday, so he's on track to play, but today he missed practice for personal reasons. I believe his father passed away before the game last week, so I think he was tending to services there. So thoughts with T. Higgins and family. Jalen Tolbert here is a step behind other guys on special teams. So that's why he wasn't playing, but it seems like he's going to try, and maybe they're going to try and put him out there this week as they need some more offensive weapons. No Damian Williams for practice today. Let me see what else we got. Leonard Fournette practicing. Good to see. DeAndre Swift, again, we covered that. No Mac Jones today with an illness. He did have some back spasms, but I think he's good to go. We'll monitor his illness and see if he's here tomorrow. Again, there's no Julio. Russell Gage did practice. So we have to watch that. Tampa Bay, no Julio for 2 days, and Mike Evans missed today. So that's a big day tomorrow for these Bucs receivers. We'll see if they can go. Let me see what we got here. Sutton or Julio in PPR. Cortland Sutton all day. Carr or Lance? I'm going with Derek Carr. I kind of want to. You have a really good option here, like Carr and Lance. Like that's a really nice duo. I think you got to take that pretty nice matchup of. And I just want to look here. If you guys are ever like. You guys ever want something to look at? I like pulling up DraftKings and seeing what players, like what their props are at. So like, let's look at this. I'll just kind of show you. So like I click into the Cardinals Raiders game. So passing props, they have Derek Carr at 285 passing yards. So that's a pretty nice day. Look at the people smashing the over here on Derek Carr. Like that's minus 205. Like basically saying he's going to throw for almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I like Derek Carr quite a bit here. And then just out of curiosity, I just want to see what Trey Lance is up to. Let's see, Trey Lance, passing props. They got him at just under 200, and they have under 1.5. So they're basically saying he's going to throw for maybe 200 yards and a touchdown. I think you take Derek Carr all day here against the Arizona Cardinals. Gabe Davis, Juju, or Elijah Moore, PPR. Give me Gabe Davis. I think he's got the higher ceiling going up against the Titans on Monday Night Football. Again, I think I would rank them Gabe, Juju, Elijah Moore. Goff or Rush. Give me Jared Goff. I feel like I can trust him a little bit more. He might not be super sexy. He dinks and dunks, but that game should put up some points. So I'm going to go with Jared Goff. Chiefs. What about the Chiefs? Not sure. Thoughts on Chiefs spread? The Chiefs spread. I mean, I'm taking the Chargers tonight. I don't like the Chiefs lost their young first round corner, their second round corner that they drafted. They're shorthanded, I think, at the cornerback position. I know Keenan Allen's out tonight, but I got a good feeling about the Chargers. Chargers are probably going to cover this 4. I think that's pretty safe. You also have to factor in too. The Chiefs don't have Harrison Butker. They called up their practice squad kicker, so maybe that plays a factor into things as well. I feel really good about the Chargers defense, and not so great about the Chiefs defense. So I'm taking the Chargers to win this game. I think they're going to cover the 4 if you want to go with that. Javonte or James Conner? That's a good one. I think with Javonte Williams, like that passing volume, he's not going to be able to keep that up. I just wanted to look and see if they have a rushing receiving line on him yet. They have him at 20.5 receiving yards. They don't have his receptions in there, but they have him at 82.5 total. Like that's a really good prop for him. I'm going to take Javonte Williams in this one. I think he's got a safe floor. I do think the Raiders Cardinals game is going to be high scoring. I like James Conner, but I'm going to go with Javonte Williams, as we should expect Denver to do well in their home opener against the Texans. QB1. It's unfortunate that rain game that we had last week. We really didn't get to learn too much about Trey Lance and the 49ers offense, so I'm kind of hesitant there. It's hard to say. I think he's kind of right in that, maybe QB 10 to 15 range. He needs George Kittle back. I think that's a big part of it too. So to me, if you're playing a 10-man league, I'm going to say no. If you're playing a 12-man league, I'll say sure. Give me a QB1 rest of season. I'm not so sure, man. Justin Herbert, he's 2-0 in Kansas City. Justin Herbert's 2-0 in Kansas City. So that's all I got to say. I pulled this up last night, but FF Today, they have, if you hit the player history week 2, they do have all the stats, like Kansas City versus the Chargers here. You can click on the games and see the previous seasons. But here you go. Justin Herbert at 2 wins, 30-24, 38-21. Just looking at these scores from these games, though, like last year, 28-34, the Chiefs got him in LA. 30-24, Chargers win in Kansas City. 38-21, that was Herbert's rookie year, end of the season. They win in Kansas City, and then 20-23. So I think we're going to see a fun, high-scoring game tonight. Tyreek or Debo? Let's see. I'm going to go Tyreek. I feel more comfortable with the volume that he got last week. Like, it was very clear that he was Tua's number one focal point in the offense. It's a tough game against the Ravens. I would expect Tyreek to come through for us. And then the other thing I'm seeing too is it looks like another rain game potentially in San Francisco. So the points and stuff have been kind of coming down on that one. So I'm going to lean with Tyreek Hill, especially if it's full PPR, for sure Tyreek Hill. Thoughts on Clyde under 65 rushing yards? For Clyde to hit the over on that means he probably needs to carry the ball 12 to 15 times, which I don't know if I feel great about. I think this game's going to be a shootout. So that makes me a little bit nervous. I think I feel good about the under here. I'll take the under on Clyde right there. Let me see what happened to my chat right here. Hide current comment. Where are my chats here? But yeah, otherwise, I do like Clyde Edwards-Helaire tonight, but I like him more as a receiver than I like him as a runner. But in the past, let me see here. In the past, we have a couple years of data here for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So in the past, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, let me go down here. Last year against the Chargers, 32 rushing yards. He did go over 100 yards in 2021 as well in September, and then 38 here. So I don't know. That feels a little bit too flimsy to trust for me, so I think I'll pass on it. Let me see what else we got here. Thoughts on Juju over 57.5 receiving yards? I think that's fair. Technically, Juju has never gone over 50 in his 2 career games here, but both of those were with Pittsburgh, so it's kind of hard to say. I want to pull up the DraftKings here. I want to see what people are slapping on that. I have a question for you guys. In the league that is my most important league, I have to start one of these receivers in a full PPR. I have to start Josh Palmer, Hunter Renfrow, or Curtis Samuel. Do you guys have a preference there? Full PPR, who would you guys start? Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, or Hunter Renfrow? Just curious what you guys think in the chat. But we got Juju here at 57.5. It's kind of mixed. Like, it's both at minus 115 here, so no one's feeling great about it. I think, what did Juju get last week? Let's click on Juju. I mean, last week he went 6 for 79. I think that's nice. The Chargers have good corners, though. I think I feel good about him being under 57, but we'll see. And yeah, I do like Curtis as well. I'm trying to think of trades for Lamb. Any suggestions? So it's kind of not the correct time to be trading Lamb. I think, like, essentially you're trading CeeDee Lamb at the lowest value. But I understand, like, if he goes out and has like a decent game this week, then you're fine. But otherwise, you're probably gonna have. So you drafted CeeDee probably round 2. That means you're gonna have to probably trade him for someone that was like drafted in the 4th round. Whether that's, Gabe Davis, whether that's an Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jerry, like, you're probably looking at those guys. I think if you can flip CeeDee Lamb for a Cortland Sutton, for maybe a Michael Thomas, maybe a Michael Pittman Jr., I think you're looking at those. So you got to think about it. It shouldn't work this way, but what everyone's doing right now, it's week 2. Everyone's like, oh, I paid a 2nd round pick for CeeDee Lamb. I want my 2nd round value back. But for someone to probably take the deal, you're going to probably have to give up a little bit. Another one too is like Justin and I were talking about J.K. Dobbins today, and people were like, "Oh, I drafted J.K. in the 5th round. I'd like to get my 5th round value back." You're probably gonna have to take an L a little bit on that. But for CeeDee Lamb, you can maybe get Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, maybe a Jalen Waddle, maybe a Brandon Cooks. You got to think about a couple rounds after CeeDee Lamb. And yeah, I'm torn, man, because like I really like Josh Palmer tonight. I think he's going to be a player that gets a good amount of targets. If I show you guys, last year there were a couple games where Josh Palmer was a starting receiver for the team. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams missed a few games at the end of the year last year. Week 14, 16, and 17. In those games, he caught a touchdown in all three of those games. And you see the volume, 5, 5, 4 receptions here. It's just a matter of, does he get the touchdown? So I think Josh Palmer tonight, his floor is probably, 4 catches, maybe 50 yards. So it's just a matter if he gets that TD tonight. What about McCole over? Mecole, 34.5. That's maybe 2 or 3 catches. I think I feel good about McCole Hardman going over. I kind of like MVS maybe going over his too. Curtis or Palmer, don't know. I feel like it's Hunter Renfrow for me. Again, I mentioned the Chargers have just a lockdown cornerback in the slot with Bryce Callahan, so I do get a little bit nervous about that. But I think Renfrow bounces back against the Cardinals. Trade Penny for Jamal Williams if I have Swift full PPR. I'm fine with that. I think Penny's value is going to be muddy soon with Kenneth Walker coming back, and again, it's not even a really good running game to begin with. So I think I'm cool with it. If you're comfortable locking down Swift and Jamal Williams, I think it gives you insurance. I don't mind that at all. And yeah, the Kelsey touchdown tonight. Let's take a look at that. The splits with Kelsey are interesting because he's had some big games against the Chiefs, but when Derwin James is playing, it hasn't been good. But they got him at minus 150 tonight. PPR, Elijah Moore against the Browns or Drake London against the Rams. These are both tough matchups. I think last week you saw Denzel Ward kind of lock down DJ Moore. So that makes me a little bit nervous about Elijah Moore. I think you're probably going to see Joe Flacco throw more towards Corey Davis, maybe more towards the rookie Garrett Wilson. So I'm slightly hesitant about Elijah Moore just because, there's more people for him to compete with targets, whereas Drake London, I mean, he showed up last week in a tough matchup against the Saints. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore and the Saints defense is pretty dang good. So I think I'm going to roll with Drake London. Again, he's only got really Kyle Pitts for targets, and even last week, London dominated it. So I'm going to say Drake London. We saw Buffalo have a pretty good passing day against those guys. So that's probably what I'll do here. But anyways, I got a couple more minutes for you guys. If you have any more questions, fire them up. Otherwise, I'm gonna go and finish setting my lineups, and we'll get ready for this awesome Thursday night football game. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take tomorrow night off from streaming. I'm gonna do a live show Saturday morning. We'll do our player prop show with my friend Jesse. We got that coming up on Saturday morning, and then I'll probably do a live stream Saturday night, and then I'll probably go live again on Sunday morning. So we'll be here for you guys. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. You can always Twitter's one of the best ways to get to me. If you want to just message me on the Twitter here, we got the 10. The Chargers 10 here. Boy, Justin Herbert going tonight. So I'm excited. I got the Chargers tonight. And I don't know. I think the Chargers will cover. Maybe they don't win, but we'll see here. So I'm going to get ready for this game, though. Thank you guys for your time. Enjoy the game here. We'll see you in a future video. Adios.